Alrighty guys, it's the Mighty Glass Square here for the draft review for the Season 4 of the DAPL. This is a National Dex Draft League, which you had 110 points to pick 10 or 11 Mons, and as well as you get Z Captains and Terra Captains. So with my first pick, I picked Megalodios. Megalodios is a very strong dragon type, a very strong psychic type, has very good coverage, as well as just an incredible base stat total. I mean, just look at that special attack stat. I mean, it's going to hit hard, it's very bulky, and has a pretty good speed tier as well. It's going to be a mon that I'm just going to have really fun to build with, running a multitude of sets, different kind of things. Has access to Defog, has access to Roost, access to Calm Mind. I mean, it's going to be very annoying for teams to deal with, so I'm really excited to use it. Also guys, this is the one mon I was not able to name in the draft. Basically, all the names of my mons are different names of the Pokemon in different languages. Just the coolest one I thought. Unfortunately, Latios in every language is Latios, so I need help with the nickname. So if you guys want to let me know down in the comment what I should name this guy, let me know, because I don't have a name for it. So with the second pick, I decided to grab Volcarona. Volcarona being a really strong fire bug type that can be very strong offensively and defensively. It is kind of in the middle as far as speed tiering goes, with a base 100 speed stat, so I mean it's not too crazy, but I mean it does get Quiver Dance, it gets Fiery Dance, and I did pick it as my Z Captain, which means I'm going to be able to run it all the different types of Z moves, lots of different coverage, and hopefully KO things that I normally wouldn't be able to KO. So I'm really excited to use this mon. It has incredible potential, and I can already tell that a lot of teams are going to just bring Rock Slide on everything. Or any sort of rock move to counter this thing, because once this thing gets going, it's going to be hard to stop. So one thing I didn't mention about my two previous picks is that they both have access to Defog, which will allow me to remove hazards, which will be pretty good. So then that leads into my next pick, which is Tyranitar. Tyranitar, being a rock dark type, allows me to set up Stealth Rocks, can set up Sandstorm for himself to get that juicy 1.5 times special defense buff. He also has access to things like Pursuit, can be really just bulky, and type-wise does really well with synergizing with Latios and Volcarona, so that was basically the reason why behind that pick. It wasn't my first thought as far as picks go. I did want to pick up maybe like a Ting Lu, because that thing does look really fun to use, but I think Tyranitar will fit on this team really well. So to follow that up, I decided to go with Cinderace. Cinderace is another form of hazard removal, so I've already grabbed 3 very strong hazard removal. And not only is it hazard removal, it's also going to put it on the other side. So it's going to be really nice for handling things like spike stacking against me, toxic spikes, because I don't have a way to handle that. We'll get into that in a bit. So actually, this is me post-editing. I never mentioned toxic spikes. I didn't address the issue. Basically, my concern about toxic spike is I don't have a grounded poison. So not having a grounded poison means I can't suck up toxic spikes. So, which is why Core Change is going to be really nice to just put it on the other side of the field. And maybe they have like Wheezing or Galarian Wheezing that's not on the ground, and then they can't pick up their own toxic spikes. That kind of idea. But I totally didn't mention it, so I just wanted to kind of put that piece in there to explain why I said that. So that's going to be my main counter to it. It does have the incredible Libero ability, which did get nerfed, not letting it switch types every time it goes for an attack, but it will get it for the first attack each time it switches it. So sure, it's a nerf. I still think it's an incredibly good mon. It is my fastest Pokemon, spoiler alert, but it is going to allow me to U-turn out and hopefully control speed, because 119 speed tier, not the fastest, but it is pretty good, and it is my fastest mon. So next up, I grabbed Vaporeon. Now Vaporeon, really, really bulky. I mean, you look at the stats and you're like, 60 base defense, is it really going to be able to tank hits? But trust me, this thing is going to be my main switch into a lot of things that the other team can't handle. It's just going to be able to just sit on things. Toxic. Scald is in this because we are in the National Dex tier, so we're going to be able to spam Scalds, click Toxic, pass wishes to other people on the team, and just be annoying, because that is what Vaporeon is good at, and that's what we're going to do with it. And with the next pick, I decided to grab Tinkaton. Now Tinkaton is probably the coolest Gen 9 Pokemon that exists. I mean, it's easily my favorite. This giant hammer, 160 base power, just, oh my gosh, it is incredible. It's almost like a mini Melmetal in a sense. I mean, it's just going to come in and click buttons. And on top of that, it gives me another Stealth Rock setter, and fairly defensive typing, can even be like a Thunder Wave, just very pain in the side, like if I run Leftovers, Rocky Helmet, it can be very tanky, despite its, somewhat average bulk. So next up, I grabbed Zarude. Now Zarude was not my initial pick, and unfortunately ended up having to be, just because I needed a grass type that could sponge earthquakes, because Tyranitar, Volcarona, Tinkaton all just get hammered by Earthquake, and I needed a grass type to be able to sponge those hits. Now I wanted Shaman, because Shaman has incredible versatility. It since was dropped and is a free agent, but unfortunately I couldn't really build around that after everything that transpired after me building the rest of my team. I really couldn't go back and pick Shaman up and try to fix the rest of the team with Shaman in mind, so it's unfortunate. However, Zarude is still going to be pretty good. I mean, in testing, I haven't been too successful with it. Now it does have access to things like Sword Stance, things like Bulk Up, things like Trailblaze to boost its speed. It has really strong coverage moves, Stomping Tantrum, U-Turn, and really good stab. The only thing that's unfortunate is it doesn't get access to things like Knockoff and Pursuit, which otherwise you'd wish your Dark type could do. So it's kind of like one of those mons that I'm excited to use, and also kind of dreading the things that I can't do. So we'll see how it goes with this guy. So the next pick is Stoutland. Now Stoutland is drafted because I picked up Tyranitar early, and Tyranitar with Sand, Stoutland with Sand Rush, giving me double speed in Sand, which means I can have this kind of pseudo speed tier that I normally wouldn't have, because I could get to max speed with Stoutland and then double that speed and outspeed things that I normally wouldn't. So it kind of helps me in that sense. Also, Stoutland is just a monster when it comes to physical attacks. I mean, he hits pretty hard, and he also is my Terra Captain, so he's going to be able to have access to a multitude of different types to switch into, to boost in stabs, and also to tank a hit before landing his own attack. So it should be something that I bring to just kind of bust down walls, so I'm going to be really excited to use it. So then with the next pick, I grabbed Sandy Shocks. I had to get a solid ground type, just somebody who could spam Earth Power in his case. Typically it's going to be Earthquake that you'll be spamming, but Earth Power in the case of Sandy Shocks. And also an electric type that could spam Volt Switch or Thunderbolt and just be a real pain in the side. Now, Sandy is also my Terra type, is another Terra type captain on my team, so he's also going to be able to Terra type, which allows me to have Bolt Beam coverage with Sandy, which is going to be amazing, as Terra Blast Ice is going to just hit a lot of things that he normally wouldn't be able to hit. And then last but not least, I grabbed Togetic. Togetic being a defogger, as well as a fairy type to sponge dragons that typically my team does not handle well with, because my only other real switch in is Tinkaton. So being able to defog, being able to switch in on dragons, being able to baton pass out, giving me more momentum that way as well. It's going to be kind of a niche mon that I'll bring as well as just kind of it fills some holes that otherwise my team can't handle. So that's going to be the main reason why I picked it up there. So yeah, that is my team in its entirety. Let me know what you think of it down below. Let me know what you guys are excited for. As far as this league comes, maybe even some suggestions to fix this mess, because um, this team is kind of iffy in my opinion. I'm excited to use it, but as far as it actually being good, I guess time will only tell. There are some very scary teams that we're going up against, so it's going to be a really rough year. Very strong sun teams, very strong electric terrain teams, very strong bulky offense teams. I mean, the teams that are in this league are just not teams that I really want to play. So, oh man, I'm kind of excited and also kind of scared for what's to come in the season. But yeah, let me know what you guys think, and that'll be it. I'll be excited to see you guys for week 1 next week. That's it. Peace.